position. All right. 5-minute count. Church countdown. I don't know, man. It's gone. It's gone.
Intro video. Church
Yep.
intro video.
Church intro video
Intro video.
sound is not
Intro video.
working. Are you where you're standing again? Because now you're not hitting any of the buttons.
What are you talking about?
Okay, there you
Where
go.
Huh?
You weren't hitting the things.
The yellows? I wasn't hitting yellows?
You weren't hitting the yellows. Now you are. You're good.
Alright.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
So yeah, so the reason we were a few seconds late is because I was trying to find the restream. So I went to go hit the restream thing. You know how I hit the go with the episode title. Hey Biggs! I hit the go and then I show the episode thing and then I wait till everything is green and then I go to the church intro video, right? Well, I looked up to see the restream part and went, it's not here.
Where's the part that usually there? Where part?
Where's the part that does the thing?
Not there.
So yeah, it wasn't there. I was like, oh no, where's the thingy? Where's the thingy that does the stuff? Oh, Pastor Bill, I'm old.
Yeah, me too.
No, the correct phrase is, haha, I'm older. See, that's what you should have said.
True. What's up, Zadie? Welcome. Biggs. Howdy. I say howdy, you say yo.
No.
No? Your big said yo.
He usually
said
says
hi.
hey. He said yo. Yo, he does say yo sometimes, you're right. It's because every time he says hey, I think I make fun of him by saying, hey is for horses. Hey is for horses.
When you walk past the red light, I'm live.
Hello, Batbrain.
Hey, Bat Brains, come and get your toddler.
You know, instinctively I was like, which one? And then I remembered there is technically only one toddler. Because the rest of them are old.
Yes, they are.
2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. Not that I have to say it because you can see it, but you know, hey, why not?
I can. So can the 3 people that are watching?
I show 4 people watching. I'm not sure who the 4th is. I show 4 people watching. Well, at least on Twitch.
Okay.
He was really concerned about your ornament. What ornament? Oh, that's why he came in here. Got it.
Yeah. She made me a crochet bauble ornament, and it's sprung a leaf or something. I'm not sure what.
Serafina got crochet stuff for Christmas. Yeah, she's been on some phone calls with yours talking about it. A couple.
Yeah, she has.
We've been, you know, we're all 2 families with multiple families, and we're all families, so we're all busy during the holidays. So yeah. I got some cool Christmas presents. We'll talk about them in the How Was Your Week. Yep. We're about 45 seconds from talking to them with that. Sadly, I can't show them all to you. My favorite one I can't show you because, you know, that's not what this stream is about. But, it's all good. 20 seconds. You better open your eyes. They can't tell, but I can see you. I can see that your eyes are closed. You're trying to sleepies.
I thought there were windows over top of my face.
There are on one of my screens. There's not on the other.
Hiding, so I was thinking of that.
All right, you ready? We're about to hit the transition button.
I'm ready. All right, and we are live. Pastor Nooms, did you see Finn wanted to say hi to you?
I didn't. Finn says hi. Oh, hello, Finn. I did not see that. I'm sorry.
Oh my, I
I
just
didn't.
looked down
I
and
didn't
saw the
see the.
venom in the camera.
What? What are you talking about? You didn't do your hello and welcome yet. And also,
Well,
there's a kaiju trying to get on the futon correctly.
there's a big venom in your camera, bro.
What are you talking about? That's my face.
Your face has gotten real big then.
My face. Yeah, I couldn't get the angle right for it. I'd have to sit like
Covering
this. There you
all
go.
the way down to your belly.
Is that better? Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? Trying out this new filter.
Yeah. So, I said that I was going to show. I can't show you my favorite Christmas present, but Biggs got this for me, and so obviously I lied because I did. But this is it's a Lego Venom, and it's fun. And there's actually if you could see it in there, there's gross to make it look like there's saliva. They've got and the tongue actually moves. Ready? Wee. Yeah, like he's licking you. I don't know where he's gonna go back here, but he's gonna go back here somewhere, and something else is probably gonna have to move. But for now, yeah, I figured I would do that right off the bat. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't look down at all, and just see how long it would take through the episode before you noticed. Just him sit. I thought about being over there too, sitting on the couch, but I didn't do that.
You're so wrong.
I know. But that's one of my Christmas presents. A Venom.
All right. Hello and welcome to season 4, episode 4 of the Berean Manifesto: Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. I'm Pastor Bill, and I am joined by Pastor Nooms. Hey, Pastor Nooms, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm well tonight. I'm well. How was your Christmas break? We took 2 weeks off the podcast.
We did. We were busy between the two of us. Days that you weren't busy, I was. Days that you were busy, I wasn't. And it made it
It's no big deal.
It's no big deal. It's the holidays. I mean, I actually texted Mom. I was like, hey, make sure Biggs is on right on time tonight because I had something funny. And she was like, I didn't even know you guys were going live tonight. I was like, that's true. It is the first. So the way it fell, it's a little different, but it's good. It's good. I had pretty good things. I worked a lot. I've only had I had last Friday and then Monday, and then I have Monday off. So it was 3 4-day weeks in a row. But I didn't take any additional time this year because we didn't do any traveling. So I saved my vacation for later.
Okay.
So
cool.
And Biggs is saying that you redid your office. Is something different that I'm not noticing?
I don't know. I mean, it is a recent redo, and then we did take a couple of weeks off, so maybe it's just hitting different.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
How was your holidays?
They were holidays. My sister Natalie flew in from California with her husband Luke. We haven't seen them in 3 years, so we got to go spend some time with them. That was fun. Played some games and whatnot over at my mom's house.
Did you guys get any bad ice or anything?
We got some cold, but there was no bad ice.
Oh, that's good. There was snow on the ground near Christmas, but technically not a white Christmas this year.
We got snow, but it didn't stick. So
Yeah, we had ice
And
by the
then
time it was
today,
Christmas.
it was like 80 degrees with a nice breeze outside. I
It
spent like
was.
2 hours in the front yard laying on a comforter spread doing my last minute study for tonight, just enjoying the you know the nice temperatures.
It's like 60s here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Cool. But as far as weeks go, it was just busy with a bunch of holidays
yeah, I did
interspersed
something
and
I did something big in games, but not a huge deal outside of games. I completed the Pokédex for Scarlet Violet minus
nice.
one.
Oh no.
Um, because you have to, in order to get a tradable version of the legendary, you have to beat the game, and I haven't beat Violet yet, so I don't
Mm.
have the Miraidon, but I have every other Pokemon in my live decks, and so that was a thing that I did this week, and then started playing a completely different game, so that was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
A game called Your Chronicle.
No, that's one of my idle games. Your Chronicle and Idling to Rule the Gods are my two idle games that I play, so they're pretty
Mhm.
much always up, and Discord just grabs whatever game was up last. I try to normally not play heavy, lots of movement and sound games during um, Sunday
Service
night. Um,
podcast.
And yes, as Senior Poopy Bottom said, I did not know. Okay, so I just realized Senior Poopy Bottom who Senior Poopy Bottom is. And I don't know if I knew who Senior Poopy Bottom was until just now.
Who is it?
Have
I
we
still
talked
don't.
about that?
Not about who it is. No.
Senior Poopy Bottom. Did I know that you were Senior Poopy Bottom?
Let the rest of us in on the secret, bro.
Well, he's sitting on my couch. Um, downstairs. Not the dog right here. Um, that'd be creepy.
Not the dog
um,
to type.
but that's actually Mr. Groggy.
That's Mr. Groggy.
It's Mr. Groggy.
How many identities
I
does that man have?
don't know. I don't know. Well, that's why I was like, wait a second. He was letting me play Violet. Yeah, I let him borrow Violet last week, which is why, while he was borrowing Violet, I finished the Scarlet Dex and then did a bunch of trades when he came in, because he came to spend New Year's with us, and we played Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
11 on the Switch all night till like
Ooh.
1. Um, and if she says anything, it's not true. Rain did not um, beat me like 4 or 5 times in a row. That is fake news. If she tells you that, it is not true. Um, I was not a happy person. She beat me so many
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
Just over and over again. And but anyway, it's all good.
So you got a Venom thing. You
I
showed us
did.
that.
I did.
I got a pocket watch that I attached to a wristband, so I
Ooh.
can just
Oh, that's
fun.
that's steampunky.
So steampunky. I
It's
love
so
it. It's great.
steampunky.
So steampunky.
When you come out here
Um,
to visit, there's this and we decide to take everybody to Dollywood. There's down there in Gatlinburg, there's this place that is this thing that you do. I can't do it because it's like 3D and stuff. Um, but the whole like idea is that you're in this steampunk ship going around the world. And so like in the gift shop there's these steampunk hats and steampunk goggles and I was like, "Oh, Bill would love all this crap."
have to go just for the gift shop.
Yeah, we probably won't pay for everyone to do that because it's like that was part of Biggs's and Grandma Gloria's Christmas to us was everything they paid for the girls. You know how that is with Six Flags often, and so it was like, no. And yes, Biggs, I do know how you felt all those times that I beat you now while my children beat me at games. So
The wheel of time turns.
yeah, yeah.
What else did I get? Money. I got some money. Couple shots of Fireball.
That how's that? Okay.
They sell those little bottles
I
that are just a
I
shot worth of.
Yep. No, I fully understand. It's just that's a interesting Christmas present. I didn't. Huh?
Actually, that was one of my favorite stocking stuffers. Actually,
I can understand.
so
It's actually the cinnamon is not that high in carbs. So
all right, and now it's time for getting to know the pastors.
is it your week?
Yep, it is.
Are you sure?
As I pack my deck.
Yeah, like a
Getting all
pack
the-
of cigarettes when neither of
Yeah.
us smoke. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
so much sense, homie.
Right.
I'm
All right.
gonna say something right now. If this card is terrible and we start the year off with an awful card out of your deck, I am not going to be happy. Go. You did not just change the card.
I'm thinking about it.
Oh man. No, just read it. Try to start the year off right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to start the year off right. I mean, come on, bro.
Oh.
Okay. I'll just read this one. Would you rather be the best player on a horrible team or the worst player on a great team?
See, that's really hard. Because here's the reason why I say that's really hard. So like, if you're the best player on the worst team, and you feel like you're wasting your time and talents.
Right.
And I take that from a team, sports or business. But if you're the worst, you're constantly worried you're about to get got. So that's rough. That one is rough. I prefer to be third on either side.
I prefer just not to do team things. I'll just.
I prefer to be like the third or fourth smartest person in a room and most efficient person in a room, and like the unless you get traded a week before the Super Bowl.
Ooh, yeah, that would stink.
But Big says the worst on a good team. I would have to say probably, like, if I actually had to answer, I would say I don't want to ever be the best because it just feels, even being mediocrely above the medium feels terrible when you're when you feel like you're doing more than others.
If I was the best, I'd always be worried about 80s montages. Just like you'd be doing something, suddenly you'd be like, do, you're the best around. And I'd be like, oh crap, I was stuck in a montage.
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. Pastor Bill started singing 80 songs. For those of you who don't get that joke, come join us live and you will. Yeah. So, but you got to choose which one. Which one would you truly choose? prefer to just be middle, but I think I'd agree with
The
Biggs.
worst.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think being the best at anything at any moment is just would be infuriating. Like if
The
you were,
worst on a good team. I mean,
because if you're the best on a bad team, I mean, if you're the best on a bad team, you'd be constantly frustrated because you're failing,
yeah.
but you're awesome.
I mean, you'd constantly feel like Judas, just like, man, I am better than these. Oh wait, that was just in his head.
That was just pride. It's different.
That was just pride.
That was
Sorry,
just,
wrong,
that was just pride.
wrong scenario.
I need a fidget. Okay, I got one. I just realized I'm fidgeting with a extremely sharp knife, and if I slip, I'm gonna cut a finger off. Because that's a straight edge. Razor blade. That's what I'm looking for. So that should not be what we're fidgeting with.
So, there's a new doctor coming.
I have heard. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Even though I'm 4 behind, but yes.
David Tennant is now the 10th and the 14th Doctor. And there wasn't supposed to be any kind of release this year. And the BBC made this big deal of something big is coming tomorrow, right?
Like tomorrow is
And
in tomorrow, or they made a big deal and it's in the past?
New Year's Adam.
Okay.
They made a big deal that New Year's Eve, they were going to drop something big.
Okay.
And everybody was like, are we getting a surprise episode? Some kind of short? Something. It was a trailer for next year's special. They made a big to-do about releasing a trailer.
Well, that's what a teaser is.
Oh, people are livid.
That's what a teaser is. It's teasing the fact that there's a trailer.
Deal about the trailer.
But that's they do that with movies. They do that with everything. Upset. Because you release a teaser that says that there's a trailer coming. I mean, that's what a teaser is. A teaser teases the trailer.
But they could have said, we're releasing a trailer.
No, that's no fun. That's not a teaser.
They made it sound like they were releasing something real.
Yeah. Well, it was real. It was real footage. It was... Does he look good as the Doctor?
David Tennant?
Oh, David Tennant's the next special?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, I thought the
next 3 specials.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to...
the 14th Doctor, and then he'll regenerate into the 15th Doctor.
I've tried to not be too spoiler-y in the fact that I'm, old dude before chick.
You're asking about Nick Cutie guy? How do you say his name?
I'm not gonna try. I can't speak English correctly. I'm not gonna insult someone else.
Didn't want to say it, but the first canon Black Doctor.
Yes.
I was hoping to say his name, but he's the first canon Black Doctor.
Yes.
Which I think is great. We've always known the Doctor could, and then spoilers, we saw a previous incarnation of the Doctor that's never been released in canon during Jodie Whittaker's time. That is a black woman Doctor.
Oh, interesting.
But
thanks for the
she's
spoilers.
Not like canon at this point. She's, and so it's exciting to see where this actor will take the Doctor. But that's what you were asking about. And as far as how he looks, they have released what his costume is, and it's very different. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
The Doctor's always been buttoned up in suits and blah blah blah, and this is more like t-shirt with a blazer and dressed down. It's not it's like what we saw Matt Smith's first promotional material being, except they've actually said this is actually his clothing.
Got it.
Doctor. So
interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it will definitely be interesting to see where they take it with him as the head. And we're trying. The girls are actually trying to get caught up to then back to where we were, since they're older now, and actually because Sarah was like 3 the last time we watched it. No,
is
she
he
wasn't.
Scottish?
Who?
the new Doctor?
No.
Big said Scottish Black Doctor Who, but I don't think he's Scottish. I think he's
Mm-mm. I don't think he's Scottish. He's
Nigerian.
mm, I don't remember.
I was thinking he was born somewhere else and then grew up
Yes, that's
in
what I
Britain.
believe. Because I like him a lot on another show. Um, um,
Oh yes, the woman from previously, she was Scottish. Well, she sounded Scottish. Um, but she wasn't. She's not officially canon.
right here. Yeah, and I have no idea. So he's Rwandan Scottish actor.
Rwandan.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
yeah.
Rwandan. Um, and his, rose to prominence as Eric on the Netflix show Sex Education, um, which is a pretty funny show.
I haven't seen it.
It's interesting.
Okay,
And he is,
I'll take your word on it.
yeah, it's an
As soon
interesting
as
show.
Disney and the BBC finish ironing out their deal to have the full catalog of Doctor Who on Disney Plus, I'll be able to go in and rewatch a whole bunch of stuff and catch back up myself and before the new stuff drops.
And there is how to pronounce his full name, which
All right, here we go.
I'm not good with the little symbols either, so I can't, doesn't help me. But
Nkuti Shuti Gatwa. Wait. NCUTI is pronounced Shuti. Okay. It says it's pronounced Shooty. Not. Okay, so NC makes a sh sound. And his last name is Gatwa. He prefers to go by his middle name professionally, which is Shooty. Okay. Well, that's fun. I didn't. I've only ever seen his name written. I haven't actually heard anybody say it. So.
I heard it once, but I can't remember it.
Biggs. They're supposed to have Biggs on Twitch says all 50 years on Disney Plus. They're supposed to be ironing out that deal to bring everything, all of Doctor Who, onto Disney Plus this year. So all the way from #1 all the way up to all of Jodie Whittaker's tenure and everything moving forward is supposed to come out on Disney Plus as it's released by the BBC overseas.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like right now, I can't watch Doctor Who anywhere unless I download it. I don't have anywhere that I can watch Doctor Who.
Yeah, right now it's on I believe it's HBO Max, and we get it through our AT&T. We have it through.
So,
yeah.
I have Hulu with HBO Max, but the HBO Max that's with Hulu doesn't include foreign productions. So you can't watch Doctor Who on Hulu with HBO Max.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm working.
Escobar.
Yeah, I already deleted it.
Oh, it's a okay. I thought he was saying you could go somewhere to watch Doctor Who's, and I was a bit like, but no, you're right. It's
it's gone. It's gone out of everywhere but what you call it?
Discord.
Yeah, and it's about to be.
I'm on it.
Ha!
phone.
I beat you to it.
Did you?
I think so.
Okay. Well, it's gone. Whoever got rid of it, it's gone. All right. So, if you haven't been following along in season 4, then you've missed 3 episodes, but we didn't get very far in what we're
Well,
currently talking about.
well, I mean, we've gotten far. It's just we
If we're
haven't gotten far.
marking distance by numbers
Oh,
of chapter and verse,
we haven't gotten far.
then we haven't gotten very far.
If you're basing it on that, we have not gotten very far. No.
Right. We haven't gotten very far as far as number and verse. And so this week, first off, Merry Christmas. We are currently in the 12 days of Christmas.
That is true.
Today is what? 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Today's the 8th day of Christmas. I don't know why I can't just remember which day is which. We're on the 8th day of Christmas. We got Epiphany coming up. So that's fun. Epiphany, January 6th, the day where we celebrate the wise men, the magi, the men of Orient, the probably Zoroastrian individual who brought gifts to Jesus with their caravans of camels and all the people that came with them. That's coming up. So that's exciting. That's not, I mean, not exciting, but it's exciting to me
Mm-hmm.
to mark those holidays, for me personally. But I know a lot of people don't celebrate those things anymore. The commercialization of Christmas has proliferated greatly.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just say it that way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Any excuse to feel hope and inspiration and reconnect with people that you haven't connected with in a while and bury the hatchet and get rid of old grudges is a good deal. All right, the baby monitor was still on. I had to reach over and turn it off.
It's okay. I was wondering if Anyanka could hear Nibbles over here.
I don't know.
Nibbles is very loud at the moment, and I just asked the girls to come get her because she is loud this weekend.
Huh, I don't hear the cat, but Big says that he does.
Yeah, that's Nibbles being something.
I don't hear it.
Hmm.
All right, so we started this. We talked about Genesis 1:1, and then we talked about Genesis 1:2, and then we talked about John 1:1,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talked about Genesis 1:3 and the first half of Genesis 1:4, and we did all of that in the first 3 episodes. So where we pick up in this episode is the second half of Genesis 1:4,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. And then we're going to go hopefully all the way through Genesis 1:5, although we may just burn right through this and be done early and be twiddling our thumbs.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Genesis 1:4. Last week, we talked about God creating light, and we talked about how it was less of I want light to exist or light exists, and more of a light, recognizing or calling out to the light. But we didn't really talk about why we see it that way, why we framed it that way. And where that comes from is here in verse 5. So,
Well, are we
God
going to start in
creates the
4?
light. We're going to start in the second half of verse 4, yes.
Oh, okay.
So God sees the light, that it's good, and then God separates the light from the darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the word there is still God's. We're still talking about the plural. We're still using the plural for God. gods. And this word separated is two words. It's sorry, I gotta find it here. It's H914, which is Badal, and it is H996, which is Bane. Okay. Now, Badal is to distinguish as different, to look at something and make a judgment and say, the light and the darkness, we recognize them as two different things. And then Bane, make sure I wrote this in my notes right.
Do you want me to read it? I have it open.
You don't have my notes open.
Oh, no, but I have the thing open.
And then 996 is to declare a distinction between the two, right? So God's making two statements here, is that he's declaring them as separate and seeing them as separate. So not only does God look at them and go, well, you're two separate things, lightness and darkness. We talked about the light there was that sentience of man, it was enlightenment, it was consciousness, and then that darkness was everything that's dark, right? It was misery and destruction and chaos and all this stuff. And God is saying, well, these are two separate things, two very separate things. Now later, we're actually going to start calling those things good and evil when we get into chapter 2. We're going to start using different terms. And the reason for the different terms is that, like we talked about before, Genesis originally started with chapter 2 and went on. And then when they went into captivity in Babylon, then they added chapter 1, incorporating what the Babylonians knew about creation, including those details into the story there at the beginning. And that's why there's this different viewpoint, this different phrases for the same things. So this is the point where God is separating good and evil and saying these are actually separate things. These aren't just, intermingled and it is what it is. That's not what these things are. There is clearly good and there is clearly evil. And God can do that because God can deal in black and white. Pastor Nooms, can you deal in black and white?
I
feel
like
like a
gray
Sunday
a
school teacher at
lot.
this point.
Huh?
I feel like a Sunday school teacher at this point. No, you cannot deal in black
I
and
like,
white because
yeah,
you are a human.
yeah, I like gray a lot.
Yeah.
I pretty much live in
Humans
gray.
deal in the gray. We do not deal in black and white. It is physically impossible for us to deal in black and white. But God deals in black and white. God deals in pass or fail, right? So we see this in the character of God. We see this from the very beginning. Later on, when we get to the ideas of salvation and we start talking about if you've broken one law, then you've broken all laws. If you're a sinner in one way, then you're a sinner in all ways. If you don't believe, then you're not saved, and it's a pass or fail. It's a yes or no. It's not a, well, I was a good person, or oh, I went to church, or oh, I gave money to the poor. And no. There was one answer. There was one question. There was one answer. It was black and white. It was yes or no. It was not gray. There was no middle ground. We see that in the nature of God from the very beginning. Light and dark. Good and evil. That is the nature of God. That doesn't change. It doesn't. God deals in black and white, right? Now, that's the nature of God. God also exists in the business of mercy, which is Jesus. We call that Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
God goes, there's black and white, and humans are failing that. And then God goes, and I have an answer for it. And that's God's mercy. That's Jesus. And then Jesus offers salvation, and salvation is still this black and white, but it's being offered when you haven't earned it, you don't deserve it, you're sitting over in the darkness, and it gets offered. It's still a black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Impossible. And God says, but I am Holy Spirit too. I am the comforter. I am the reminder. I can move in your life. And that's where we get that part of God, the Holy Spirit. And that gives us the grace to change, right? And be worthy of the free gift that Jesus gives. Okay. And we see all of that playing out in that statement. God separated the light from the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this great poetic thing going on here. And we're seeing the nature of God, and we're seeing all this power of God. And we're only 4 verses in,
Mm-hmm.
and this such a deep, deep, deep thing going on here. Okay. And then we get to verse 5. Okay. Now you got to remember, you're reading a poem. All right. Verse 5 is it's basically, I don't really know how to explain it other than to say, if you reach out and you grab dough and you go to make a ball of dough and you go like this and you squeeze that into the dough to finish off the ball, verse 5 is that. It's finishing off the ball of dough for this poem. And that's a weird visual, but that's what I'm getting in my head. So when you look at verse 5, what you're reading is actually telling you what was happening in verses 3 and 4. Okay? So this statement, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. That statement is what actually was seen to happen. And everything before that is the explanation of the nuts and bolts. A bat brain on Twitch, my wife says it is a bit odd, my little ball of dough thing.
It is.
But all of my analogies are odd, so I'm not surprised. Okay. So when we get to verse 5, we see God, and we're using the same, still the plural for God's, called, all right? And called there, we see that as God naming the light. And it would be if this wasn't a poem, if this wasn't poetic, wordplay, right? But H7121 called, which is kara, a primitive root rather identical with H7122, through the idea of accosting a person met, to call out to, that is, properly addressed by name, but used in a wide variety of applications, and then gives you a list in the Strongs of all the different ways it's been translated. So what this is actually showing you in verse 4, when God said, "Let there be light," that was them describing what God did. But what actually happened is God called out to or accosted the light by name. Like we were talking about in the previous episode, what actually happened is God went light, but he didn't, because that's not the name of light. What is the name of light? The name of light is Yom, or what we then call day. So in verse 3, when it said, let there be light, and the poem says, and God, said, let there be light. It's all wordplay for God addressing, accosting, calling out to light as if it existed, and the name that he used for light was Yom. As if when Pastor Nooms gives me a phone call, like I said, if it wasn't a weird thing for him to call me because he only calls me in emergencies. If he called me on a regular basis and he's my best friend and I saw his name on the phone, I would pick up the phone and I would go, Nooms. It's the same thing. God said, Yom, called out to the light as if it already existed, as if it was an old friend, as if he already knew it. And at that point, it came into existence. It then existed. And then God compared that to what was within himself. And then in verse 4? No, verse 2. Sorry.
4 is it's good.
Yeah. Compared that to what was within himself and declared it good. I see that within myself, that is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he did the same thing for the darkness. And he called the darkness, I think these are 3 different pronunciations of the same word. I don't think this is the actual word. It says Layil, Lail, and Layela. I think there's 3 different pronunciations. But he said that, and what that means is a twist away from the light or adversity, right? So he addressed the night, the darkness, as adversity, or a twisting away from the light, a twisting away from life, a twisting away from enlightenment, a twisting away from sentience and all of that good stuff. And then the poet wrangles all that together and says, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Okay? Now, God is talking and calls the light day. But it's not the word day. But that is what the humans then later called a day. They used that same word. Right? So we see the poet playing off of that wordplay and using the word in both places.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what God called it. And then he calls upon that in the same verse and says, we're the first day. It's a different day. This is a human day now, right? And we only have an evening and a morning because God separated the light from the darkness. So the poet's working on several levels here. There's the cosmic level where he's talking about good and evil, and then he's using the wordplay to relate that to the reader of the difference between sunshine and darkness and where those two meet in the evening and the morning, which is the gray area where we live, where we exist, right? In that evening and in that morning. That's where we exist. We exist somewhere in between those light and that darkness. and that was the first day. And so then when we look back and we were talking about the first day didn't end until the first day ended, right? And what and what we meant by that was we don't know when the first day began. For God, there could have been millions and millions of years. We talked about in the first verse, God created the heavens and the earth. We were talking about that's a hands-on word, hands-on action, where you're building something up using the baser elements. And we don't know how long in God's perspective that took. But there was no time yet. There was no marking of what we think of as time. There was no turning of day and night and seasons. And so we don't know how long there was from the moment that God created the heavens and the earth, right? Started that work. And the evening and the morning existing to create the quote unquote first day, right? So it's all very deep and very involved. And I encourage everybody to go back and reread those verses. Go back and listen to the first 3 episodes of season 4 and catch back up now that we're through the holidays. We're
Mm-hmm.
settling down. We're ready to get things going. If you're gonna make a New Year's resolution, make a resolution to be Berean, right? So we say be Berean because when we go to Acts, we find Paul fleeing from one place to another, and he goes to a town called Berea. And when he gets to Berea, he starts preaching, and the believers in Berea, not just the believers, but also the Jewish men, they refused to believe anything Paul said until
Mm-hmm.
they were able to go and find it themselves in the scriptures, right? They wanted to be able to go and own what Paul was preaching them or have grounds to dismiss it. They didn't want to just receive it. And Paul praised them as being more worthy than the highfalutin Jews over in Jewtown. He didn't use those words, but that was the equivalent of what he was saying. You guys are more worthy than the snooty guys over there. That's awesome, guys. Because they refused to believe what he was saying until they proved it for themselves. So if you're going to make a New Year's resolution, I know last episode we talked about a lot of people start in January, they're going to read through the whole Bible in a year. And we talked about how I don't recommend that because it loses a lot of that deep study time because people don't read with intention. They read to just I gotta get my daily reading done so I can make it through the year. Resolve to be Berean. Go back and look at these verses in the deep poetic terms that they're intended to be. Cross-reference that with the other parts of Scripture and let what is one of the deepest chapters in the Bible speak to you and revolutionize the way you think about this Sunday school topic of creation. You know, like it is so there's so much there, and yeah, that's what I had for tonight. Look at that, 7:25.
It means you're
There
three
will be
minutes
no
early.
thumb twiddling.
We have 3 minutes to twiddle now.
We don't have to twiddle. We can.
Why are you playing with a grippy thing?
A clamp. It's a clamp.
I know.
Clamp.
I forgot what the word clamp was for a minute, but I know its purpose.
It's clamp. Well, I know its purpose.
It's one of those.
It clamps.
It's one of those where the we weren't clever. Our English definition of explaining things was not clever. What does it do? It holds other things. It clamps one thing to another. What are we gonna call it? A clamp. It's like we call a vacuum. Why? Because it vacuums. Well, because it creates.
Because it uses a vacuum to suck things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything you wanted to add to any of that?
No, I mean, I
didn't
think
really stop and give you time to interject at any point, did I?
I think it's important as we look at these types of things to think about the fact that, it is not a simple aspect, and so often we look at it as such. And so it's good to take time to dig in, and actually understand what the words mean, and actually understand what is being said, not just what is written, because it is definitely English is not as we were just saying, um, you know, clamp is clamp. Like it's not clever. It does not pick up the artistry of other languages well. So I think it's one of the reasons why studying is so important.
It's hard enough to understand poetry in English, and then you take some other cultures' poetry and you translate it to 3 different languages, and then try to transliterate that into English.
It is complicated. Yes. All right.
Yeah. All right. This podcast comes out every week on Wednesdays, wherever you get your podcasts. If you found this, I don't know, helpful, entertaining, funny, inspiring, or you think somebody might benefit from it, then like, follow, share, tell people we exist. And also, if you'd like to join us live and be a part of the conversation, where you can type out your message and then we can respond, and we can, get a deeper explanation going on. If you have a question or something like that, then we do that on Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can go to our website, www.ekk.house, to find out which Twitch, which YouTube, and which Facebook that we are live on, where you can catch that video and participate in the chat. As always, we are glad to have our listener base, and as we go into 2023, that hasn't changed. We're in season 4, which means we're many episodes and several years into this thing, and we're quite thankful to just, I don't know, I guess I'm more thankful to have you, Pastor Nooms, in my life than the platform itself.
Yes, the people that we interact with is more important than the following, because that's not what's important.
I mean, I know it's important to get this stuff out there and help people and make a difference in the world, but I'm not immune to the benefits of what this does for me. So, thank you, sir, for your part in my life. All right. Okay, so if you're with us live now, we have to do this.
No,
thing
you didn't say, and then next time and all that other stuff, so that way I can then say be safe. You skipped all that. Go back and do it correctly.
We love you guys. Have a great week.
Be safe out there.
And until next time.
Thank you.
All right, now for those of you that are here live, streaming does this thing where it cuts off time if we just cut it off. So we do a thing that we call a 30-second buffer song. It's a lot of fun. And here we go. 30-second buffer, 30-second buffer.
30-second buffer.
Has it been 30 seconds yet?
No,
Nope,
that's not how time works.
30-second buffer.
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer.
I think that's been long enough.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Venom. Goodbye, Pastor News. You can turn it off now.